FTC takes aim at Microsoft for Xbox Game Pass changes. The FTC says the new Xbox Game Pass tiers proved it was right to oppose Microsoft and Blizzard's merger. Earlier this month, Microsoft unveiled this new Xbox Game Pass tiers while raising the prices and taking away day one releases, cloud gaming, and more features from the lowest subscription plan. Games like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will also be reserved for Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass Console Now. The Federal Trade Commission is taking aim at Microsoft's actions in federal court and arguing that the company's actions have harmed consumers. The FTC opposed Microsoft's 2003 merger with Activision Blizzard and filed a lawsuit that ultimately failed to stop it from going through. Now the FTC has made a filing in the U.S. North Circuit Court of Appeals that slams the new Xbox Game Pass standard tier as a degraded product. Moreover, the FTC argues that Microsoft's actions fly in the face of how the company promised that it would conduct itself if the merger with Activision Blizzard was approved. Product degradation. Removing the most valuable games from Microsoft's new service, combined with price increases for existing users, is exactly the sort of consumer harm from the merger the FTC has alleged. The filing also calls out Microsoft's broken promise that the merger would benefit consumers by allowing them to get games like the new Call of Duty on Game Pass without raising prices. Okay, so they did break that promise.
Yep.
Since the merger with Activision Blizzard was completed last year, it's unclear how or if the FTC's court filing will change anything for the gamers who subscribe to Game Pass. But the filing does note that Microsoft's actions have vindicated the FTC's attempt to prevent the merger from happening in the first place. So let's see if there's comments. Yep. So whoever posted on the Sims 4 article must have deleted their comment. Nintendians goes, this is a stupid case. Microsoft could have increased the price for Xbox PC Game Pass even if they don't own Activision Blizzard. And Bobo888 goes to Nintendians, they didn't just increase the price. And Nintendians says in response, even if Microsoft doesn't own Activision Blizzard, Microsoft could still do on what's in store to their liking. Okay, so do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, just because I do have a lot to say. Nintendians is obviously missing the plot. Because they said that they would not. Yeah, true. Microsoft is a company. They could raise their prices whenever they want, however they want. That's true. But when they said that also said that like Call of Duty would be available to all Game Pass subscribers on day one, or at least anyone who had access to the hundreds of games of Game Pass. Because when they made this, got the Activision Blizzard deal approved, there was no in between merger. It was either you had Game Pass Core or Game Pass Ultimate if you were on console. PC hasn't really been affected. It's been affected the least, so that's why I'm not really talking about them.
Of course.
But it was either Game Pass Core, where you get a handful of games, like 35, and you can play the games you downloaded when you had games with gold and stuff like that, or you could play Game Pass Ultimate, and you had everything. You had cloud gaming, you had day one releases, you had access to over 300 games. The list goes on and on. Now, Microsoft created this in-between tier where you don't get cloud gaming, where you don't get day one releases, where you don't get some of the subscription services like EA or whatever, or Ubisoft, they don't do business. You don't get their games if you're on that middle tier, and then they raise the prices. That's what the FTC is saying. I can't believe I'm actually defending the FTC, but this is actually this is just how much Microsoft has screwed basically their players. It's either you pay $5 more a month for the Ultimate Game Pass, or you don't get cloud gaming, you don't get day one releases, and like I said, I really wish the merger never did happen, because we've gotten nothing. No one's gotten anything from it. What did Microsoft do? They shut down a bunch of successful studios.
Yep.
What happened to all the games that just entered your library? Me and Dr. Games 101 talked about it. You had Tony Hawk. You You had I think not Mafia, but you had True Crime now. You had uh, like, and I those are the only couple that I can remember series. But you had all these games now, and you did absolutely nothing with them, and that's the problem. You did nothing with them, and then you said, "Oh yeah, the Call of Duty. You better be subscribed to the next tier if you want the new Call of Duty." Oh, you still want cloud gaming and day one releases? That'll be $5 extra a month, please. Or you can get this middle tier, but you don't get any of that.
They try to act like Sony with the 3 tiers that they did start it this year. That's stupid on their part, Microsoft. They know they have to be in competition with Sony, so might as well leave it as what they had for years, for the Game Pass and all. There was no problems with the Game Pass pricing earlier this year, late last year, especially. Now all of a sudden
Another
they're trying to act like Sony.
another thing, if Game Pass needed their prices raised to just make ends meet, or actually make turn a profit, maybe you shouldn't have been putting all your eggs in the Game Pass basket.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maybe you should realize that you're still one of the viable consoles, or you were until you destroyed that yourself. It's amazing. That's one thing I can't get. It's not Nintendo or Sony that killed Microsoft's console. It's Microsoft that killed Xbox.
Oh yeah, definitely, especially with their DEI and woke stuff like that we hear
Not
for the
even
last
that.
couple of years.
Not even that. It's just Microsoft has been, they said we officially lost the console war.
Oh yeah, it's supposed to literally said it out loud on the interview of that with Geeks and Gamers or some equivalency of that source. You know?
And it's like, well, tell an army, let's see what happens when an army says in a war, we officially lost the war.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna look good on their part.
So, yeah, so I mean, so this is, honestly, like I said, I don't like the FCC or the FTC or really any of these organizations, but Microsoft has been such a fuck up that I'm actually agreeing with them.
Mm-hmm.
When you got me agreeing with the FTC or the FCC or any of these organizations alike,
Consumer affairs as well. Yeah.
you fucked up if I'm actually agreeing with them, because I never agree with them.
Yeah, you see, FTC is for the corporation's sake.
Yeah. So I mean, you know what? But like I said, it's just another reason to go back to retro. I'll just keep saying it as much as um, often as these choices are made.
Yeah, we can do our let's plays with our audiences for the next few months and years with PS3, PS2, N64. I did the other year, so no big deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to spend $20 more a month. Not more, but $20 altogether every month for the next God knows how many years, and then it increased again. I hear too another year from now. It's like all this inflation is affecting everything. We know that, but Microsoft's a $3 trillion company. There is no way they could just like increase prices with ease. Think that's gonna people gonna just accept it easily. Because you have some customers pay for it no matter what if they have the money for it. Me personally, I can't. I can, but then again, it's like I'd rather just buy a couple of games a year or buy cheap games that are on sale and then just stick with those games and do let's plays and just regular game on
Oh
private
man.
sessions myself, whatever. That's about it.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. Because I don't, I mean, okay, so I'm gonna miss out on some things, but like I said, if I got paid $20 a month, I'd rather be building up my video game collection of games I want to play and do let's plays of, than have games that Microsoft decides what they want to do when they want to do it. And like you said, another raise prices could happen anytime.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah. So yes, like I said, you got me agreeing with the FTC, and when you did that, when you're so bad at that you made me agree with them,
Mm.
you lost the plot. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
so it's not just Nintendians that lost the plot; it's also Microsoft. But then again, I don't think that's news to anyone.
Yeah, Microsoft. I mean, the corporations always be corporations for expanding for sake of profits and stuff like that. That's their shtick. That's their goal. That's their being as a corporation. But there's also times where you get these key people in your companies, like Major Nelson leaving, or who else? The FIFA 3 industries studios leaving, key Halo makers have been around for decades. Even if you want to call them, actually call them decades, yeah, definitely. I mean, Major Nell specifically, he's been around for 20 years with the company, and the found, if you want to call him the founding father of the Xbox achievements. I try to tell that to the younger gamers and stuff like that. They don't give a damn about that stuff. No offense to some people out there. I'm like, you guys gotta understand, like these people put their livelihood and their lives and online just to make the best product out there. And then once until the corporations started to turn to the big bad evil corporation type of scenario, it's like, what the hell, man? Like we dedicate a lot of our time, money, and effort to make sure that company sustains itself. And this is what we get is increased prices, you know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, and thing is, like I said, it's kind of dumb because they don't even like say you want to buy like Far Cry 6 or Yakuza Like a Dragon digitally, you still gotta pay $60. So it's not even like Microsoft's lowering the price for these games. They're still like, no, you want to buy it digitally, you gotta pay full price. So
$70
it's
especially.
so it's like either buy it on so it's either pay for Game Pass so you can play it, or buy or pay full price for a game that's like 4 years old.
Mm-hmm. Oh
So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could always buy a copy online, for from eBay or whatever. I mean, like I've seen copies of Yakuza Like a Dragon go for like $10 if it's just disc only.
Right, this is starting to disappear too, little by little, if we're not careful. So
Well, like I said, there'll always be retro because so many games were released from the NES generation to the PS3, Wii U generation. Um, that there's no way we'll all get to play all of them.
oh yeah, and the scalpers make some of the games so expensive that you got to be a very wealthy person just to pay and play the basic
Well, those
copy that's used at least now.
Well, those games are also. It's not just that. I mean, keep in mind, if I forget, I think it was Bible one of the Bible games videos. We're going to talk about Angry Video Game Nerd later.
Okay.
But in his Bible Games 2 video, he said Sunday Fun Day, which was reskin a Menace Speech, was released for Nintendo in 1995 as the last Nintendo game. 1995, and I think was the year PlayStation came out. I think N64 came out in 96. So we were just getting in. So N64 was just about to came out when the last Nintendo game was released. That's
Mm.
why that's another reason why these games are so some of them are so expensive, like Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, DuckTales 2. They came out so far in Nintendo's life cycle that not many people were buying them because everyone was focusing on Super Nintendo. So these copies were not made. These copies were not. The copies that were purchased were very few compared to like the Turtles 2 arcade game or the first DuckTales game.
Okay.
So few copies were sold from people who actually bought them when they came out that uh, that's what and now they're so rare because only so few exist because so few people bought them in the first place.
Oh yeah.
In 1995, 1996, think about yourself. Were you caring about getting your hands on any Nintendo games?
Some extent depends on which one they are.
I mean Nintendo for 8-bit Nintendo.
Oh, Nintendo NES. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't recall.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, like I said, with the internet, with video game reviewers and everything, you can find out which ones are good and which ones aren't. It might take a while to find one that's good,
Yeah.
but like I said, looking up game scores and finding a game on eBay. Ooh, I wonder how this game goes. I wonder what this game is rated. I wonder what reviewers said about this game,
Mm,
and then you make
definitely.
your decision on that if you want to buy it or